Hello, my dear viewers. This video is about the ego, which is actually the false self. Ego is a Latin term that literally means I. When we use the word ego, we are not referring to the real self, but to the ideas we have about ourselves in the human mind, our self-esteem and our identity. It is what defines how we see ourselves and how we relate to others. The ego is actually a collection of thoughts and feelings. This false self is constantly making judgments about phenomena. What he labels as bad, he feels fear, dread or anger towards. What he labels as good, he constantly longs for. He often dwells on the past and is afraid of a possible future labeled as bad. But there are times when he yearns for an imagined, ideal future labeled as good. Most conflicts and emotional problems in people's lives are caused by the ego itself. When the ego is too strong, it can negatively affect one's relationships and reactions. It is important to find a balance between self-confidence and modesty in order to live a more harmonious life. True happiness in the long run can only be found by those who are able to get rid of the ego. Overcoming the ego and being selfless often leads to deeper happiness and inner peace. This requires constant inner work. It is important to develop self-awareness and practice empathy for others. You can practice mindfulness and grateful thinking, and focus on personal growth. Practicing meditation and mindfulness can also be very effective in reducing the ego. The goal of the path of self-knowledge is not only to get rid of the ego, but also to become one with our true self, which is called Atman in Far Eastern philosophies. Atman is the source of intuition, from which the purest form of thought is wisdom and the purest form of emotion is compassion. You don't need an ego, but you do need a personality. If our personality originates from the ego, then we can create a dysfunctional personality. If from the Atman, then we can create a very well-functioning personality. It is important not to see the ego as a bad thing to be defeated, because then we also put a label on it, and with such judgments we only strengthen the ego. Practice compassion and observe external and internal phenomena without judgment. If you practice this long and persistently, sooner or later you can get rid of the ego and, if only for a short time at first, you can experience your true self. It will pass. Motionless, quiet sitting meditation can also help you with this. Be very careful because the ego has many traps. Very often, just when we thought we got rid of it, it takes control of us again through the back door with a cunning trick. It is common for spiritual travelers to believe that they have gotten rid of their ego, but they have only created another so-called spiritual ego. It helps if you always try to maintain modesty in all circumstances. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please share it with others. Let there be as many awakening spirits as possible.